You're tuned in to Super Talk 1270 and Free for All Friday. Compelling local talk at 11 o'clock. Free for All Friday features groups and organizations that are plugged into progress here in Central North Dakota. Our rotating panel includes members of the Bismarck Downtowners, the Bismarck Mandan Home Builders Association, and representatives from Pride of Dakota. You're invited to call in and join the discussion. It's Free for All Friday on Super Talk 1270.
Hi, I'm Russ McDonald, from President for United Tribes Technical College. Glad to be here this morning to share a little bit about United Tribes. If you haven't been out to campus, we want to invite you to come out and see us. And we have quite a history out there that we'd be glad to share with you and walk you around and introduce you to the campus. Here with me today is Dr. Lisa Azure, our Vice President of Academic Affairs, and we've asked her to share a few words from the academics area.
Good morning. Thank you, President McDonald. I'm glad to be here and be able to share some of the some things about United Tribes with the community. I've been at United Tribes for over 20 years in a number of capacities, and over the years, it's been real. We've been happy to see more and more people from the community coming to campus and becoming aware of some of the resources that we have out there. There's we're going to be talking about some of the unique features on the campus this morning, but again, welcoming people from the community to come to campus to visit anytime.
We also want to thank Super Talk 1270 for inviting us to share a little bit out in regard to our campus. We've been making a conscious effort to get out here into the Bismarck Mandan community to share a little bit about what's going on. And I've myself have gone to some Rotary meetings, some chamber mixers, and in order to make some connections and to introduce myself to the community. I came on board October 27th, 2014, so I've been on the job about going on 7 months. Things have been going well. There's an excellent crew out there. I'm really overwhelmingly pleased with the faculty that we have on campus and the excellent courses that we've been providing out there. We are a tribal college, United Tribes Technical College, and as a piece of that, the cultural piece of that is that each of our courses have a cultural component in them. So that I think that's one of the things that I was pleased to see coming to campus. The other part is that we have elective courses that are provided by several faculty, native focused courses that if folks are interested in just learning a little bit about native culture in general or native culture for the Great Plains area. And I think it's important to understand is that not all tribes are the same. I think a lot of times we see, and I think this is a native perspective too towards non-natives, and they say, well, all those white people are alike, or all those Indians are alike, and then and we're really not. And I think that myself, my mom is Rikara Hidatsa from the Mandan Hidatsa Rikara Nation, and my dad is a Dakota from the Spirit Lake Reservation, and those are two unique cultures, and so in each of those cultures, they have their own ways of doing things. They have their own songs, their own languages, and I think that's so important to recognize that. And when we look at non-native cultures, the most I've interacted with is the Norwegians. And I was at the University of North Dakota School of Medicine as assistant professor for a little bit, and we did some research there, and with some and what I found there is one of the projects we did on campus was we put together a storybook about immigrants coming to North Dakota and Norwegian immigrants. And in this storybook, they shared some of their cultural stories from the Norwegians. And the things that I didn't know that were of interest to me was that they have drums within their culture, and we have drums within our culture. The other piece of that is that there was some would say mythical stories about these little guys little people that live in trees, and they had some stories that they shared in regard from the Norwegian culture, which are similar to stories that we hear at home. So I think those are similarities between the two cultures. Also, I was in a service for a little while, and I spent about 18 months over in Germany, and had a pretty good time over there. And but what I what I see there too is that I really got treated well there by the German people, and I understand here in North Dakota that we have the Russian German folks, and I think that's so important for us to recognize that culture as well, and that there's really within a German culture there's tribal peoples there, and I think that's similar to what we have here. And being in Germany, we were stationed down just south of Frankfurt, but when we went up into the hills, into the mountains, is that there was a different culture there. There was a different culture up in Bavaria than there was down below in Frankfurt. So I think it's the same here in regard when we talk about people, when we talk about the different cultures that are available. Germans are not the same as Norwegians. Arikaras and Hadatsas are not the same as Dakotas, and but there are similarities between our people. I was at a conference in St. Cloud when I was still in a master's program, and we were sharing a booth with one of our fellow programs, our sister programs out of Minnesota. And the lady I was visiting, who was sharing a booth with, we started talking about dream cars, and we started talking about the Audi A4s for some reason, and so as we spoke about that, what she shared with me was that she said it's nice to have. She said that's a really nice car, but I can never take it home. And I said, well, why not? And she said, well, because it's okay to have money, but it's not okay to show it off. And she was a Norwegian lady, very strong in the culture. And I thought it just kicked off a light bulb for me, because that's really similar to our own beliefs as natives in regard on both my dad and my mom's side of the importance of not being out front, not showing off, and but rather having this kind of a humility or humbleness to the way we walk and carry ourselves, this quiet demeanor. And so I was pleased to hear that for the Norwegians as well. So I think for most of us here, is if we look for the similarities between our cultures, then I think that we'll find that there's more similarities than there are differences. But instead, I think we're always looking for the differences between ourselves, not only within our native peoples, but also with native peoples in comparison to non-natives. And I think if we can perhaps address those similarities, that'll help us and get along better, and move forward in regard to recognizing the uniqueness and the greatness of all of our backgrounds, no matter where we come from. And so so when we pull that back to education, we have to recognize that in regard to the classrooms that we teach, the students that we teach, in regard to where they're coming from, because we have both native and non-native on our campuses. And right now we're at about 10% of our student population are non-native, both mainly white and black, or African American and white American. So we're pleased to be able to serve that group and to share with those the public out there that that if you're interested in coming to school with us, that you're more than welcome.
Right now, 50.
Get the traffic and weather information you need anytime on Super Talk 1270 and online at supertalk1270.com.
And once again, with his guest for this week, the president of the United Tribes Technical College, Dr. Leander McDonald.
Again, we want to thank Super Talk 1270 for inviting us over to share a little bit about what's happening at United Tribes. With us today is Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Lisa Azure. And I've asked her to share a little bit on the accreditation process that we go through, that most colleges go through, as well as some of the assessment activities that she's been doing on our programs of study and our courses to ensure that we're having quality programs here.
Thank you, President McDonald. As President McDonald said, we are a tribal college, but we do, as an institution of higher education, we participate in the same accrediting processes as any higher ed institution. We are fully accredited through the Higher Learning Commission through 2021 to offer certificate programs, AAS programs, 3 Bachelor of Science degree programs, and complete programs, online programs. About 5 years ago, United Tribes went through an institutional change request to begin offering bachelor's degrees. We had typically before that had gone from a training institution and had transitioned into offering mostly vocational degree programs and AAS degrees. We currently offer 3 bachelor's programs, baccalaureate programs, one in criminal justice, one in business administration, and one in elementary education. The elementary education program, the teacher education department that offers the elementary ed program, is approved through the North Dakota Education Standards and Practices Board as well. Again, typical of all of the institutions in the state that offer bachelor's degrees in education. We have a nursing program that is an AAS degree, a licensed practical nursing, that is approved through the North Dakota State Board of Nursing, as well as ASEN. It's a national accrediting body. Our automotive department program is an AAS degree and a diploma that is also accredited by an entity that typically accredits automotive degrees. And then our food and nutrition program, which is pre-dietary and culinary, that one it has external accreditation as well. So the point is that our the programs and the degrees that we offer at United Tribes have to meet the same standards, the same level of excellence as any degree programs at any other institution. We have we participate in an institutional assessment process. Right now, we're going through and doing program reviews with all of the AAS programs and the certificates to make sure that they're still relevant. With the workforce demographics changing in the state of North Dakota, we want to make sure that what we're offering, the degrees options that we offer, either it's a certificate or a diploma or an AAS degree, that it's meeting the needs of the people who choose to be employed in North Dakota. This is this has caused us to increase our focus on some of our certificate programs, short-term training. We have welding, we have CDL, the commercial driver's license, and heavy equipment, electrical technology, medical billing and coding. Like I said, a number of these certificates that people can complete in anywhere from 16 weeks to 1 year to get them into the workforce. We're also reviewing all of our AAS degree programs to again make sure that they're continuing to be relevant to employment opportunities that are out there. We have 14 AAS degrees. We have been streamlining some of them, again, increasing the focus on technology and changing demographics in the workforce and for employment projections. The certificate programs continue to be a focus and probably not more so than the others, but this people want to get it and want to be employed now. And like I said, with the with the things that are happening in the state of North Dakota, there's a shortage, as we all know, of employees for the many positions that are filling up or becoming available. So United Tribes is intent on helping people meet so that they're qualified for these positions.
The other piece of this in regard to workforce development is that we were pleased to see that this last legislative session that we were additionally funded for workforce development for the tribal colleges, and not only that, but we were also funded for non-beneficiary students. So first, for the non-beneficiary students, what happens is that we don't have a tax base as tribal colleges. And so what happens then is that we end up receiving federal funds for in student count. So for the Native students that go to school with us, we receive a formula-based funding based on each student that goes to school at our institution. What happens with our non-Native students that go to school with us is that we don't receive funds for them. And so our state like the state colleges within the North Dakota University system. And so then what happens then is what happened with the legislative session this last time around is that and the previous biennium is that they provided funding to the tribal colleges in order to address that. And so for the non-natives that go to school at our colleges, the state has provided funds to us in order to provide those educational services to those students going to school. at our institutions. So I think that really helps us out. It's a little bit lower than what we receive for the in-student account, and the in-student account is less than we get about a third of what other educational institutions get, minority serving institutions get in regard to the students they serve. So a little bit less there, but at the same time, it's helping it helps us in the end to pay the bills. In regard to the workforce development piece, Dr. Lisa here mentioned a little bit about some of the programs we're providing, and we had some accelerated courses this last time around that were funded, and mainly medical coding and CDL and heavy equipment operator. And the heavy equipment and CDL were run together, and so what we found out through assessment activities is that those that students that were coming to us would rather have those split out. And so she's working now to split those out and to provide just the CDL or just the heavy equipment, or if the student wants to take both of those, then they would be able to do that. And I think that's so important for us as a college to modify our programs of study to better suit the needs and to listen to the students that are coming to us in regard to those programs. The other piece of that too is that there's still significant need out there here in North Dakota. Just in regard to the CDL program, is that the demographics for our bus drivers. Bus drivers are coming to the end part of their career, so they're looking at retiring. So we see a significant need in regard to future projections for those for bus drivers for all school systems, not just the tribal areas. And so I think the CDL program will really help to address that need within overall. The other piece in regard to welding, I think welding's been we've had real good participation in that, and we've been working a little bit in regard to employers and unions to try and connect our workers or our students with the workforce, and so that they have some employment when they finish up their schooling with us. And we're pleased to see that that's been going well. And the latter part of that, even with what we're seeing in regard to the oil prices going down and that some layoffs occurring within the western part of the state, there's still significant job opportunities there, employment opportunities for folks. And I think what we're seeing, especially with these certificate programs, these short-term programs of people just wanting to get out there and get a job, is that these are really what's happening is we're really preparing these guys not just to get a certificate and to find a job, but rather to have a career. And I think that's with a real high-paying job. And so the other piece of that, what we see locally here within Bismarck, man, then if you drive around here a little bit, I'm seeing over at Walmart $12 an hour for the regular shifts and $14 an hour for the graveyard shift. And we're hearing that McDonald's is paying $14 an hour now. So what's happening here as folks exit out of our Bismarck Mandan community here to for a different type of job, and these other jobs are left open, and the demand is high there. So they're having to raise their hourly rates in order to get folks to come and work for them. And the same thing's happening for us as an employer here in Bismarck. Right now, we have 233 full-time employees. We have 45 part-time, and so the last study that was done for economic impact, we impact the Bismarck Mandan community at around $34 million. For the United Tribes Technical College Summit and Powwow Week, that alone is at $4.2 million. So I think we're quite a contributor to the area, and and that's part of the reason why we're doing the outreach here to share that and to have folks know that we're committed to continuing that good work and to being a good neighbor here within our area.
We will continue with Dr. Leander McDonald and friends from United Tribes Technical College in just a couple of minutes here. You're listening to Free for All Friday at Supertalk 1270, online at supertalk1270.com.
Right now, 50.
Get the app called Radio Pup for your iPhone and take us everywhere you go. Bismarck and Mandan's own Supertalk 1270.
Once again from United Tribes Technical College, President Dr. Leander McDonald.
Hey, we want to Again, thanks Super Talk 1270 for allowing us to come and share a little bit of United Tribes Technical College. Glad to be here and be a part of your Friday. We were talking a little bit before we went to break on some of the different efforts that have been happening in regard to North Dakota supporting tribal education and workforce development for all people here within the state. And I think that's so important for us to as we move forward. And I'd like to turn the mic back over to Dr. Lisa Azure, our Vice President of Academic Affairs, to talk a little bit about some of the new programs that have been that are proposed and have gone into our accrediting body for approval.
Thank you, President McDonald. As we mentioned earlier, we are, accredited, fully accredited, and institutional assessment is something that's an ongoing process. A couple of the things that like I said, as we had mentioned before, some of the short-term training, being implemented. We're also looking at our baccalaureate programs and our AAS degree programs. We recently had a external evaluation done of our nursing program. We have a very successful nursing program on campus, a practical nursing AAS degree that has been in existence for about 30 years. And there's a lot of top-notch nurses graduate from that program every year. There's such a shortage of nurses in the state of North Dakota and in the region that we recently went through an evaluation process to see if we could maintain the integrity of the program but reduce the number of credits. There again, with the trend to get people into the workforce sooner, so that program was reduced from a little over 70 credits. It'll now be 63 credits. That's going to cut about a semester out and get these, people employed in the nursing profession as soon as possible. We've also are again based on assessment processes with including student input, student interest. Is we're changing our business and office technology degree, which is has been in existence again for about 30 years, but changing the focus of that into more of a technology degree. This is students are interested in technology fields, and they and there's the jobs. We've also had an environmental science AAS degree for a number of years, and we are now in the process of requesting the Higher Learning Commission to take this to a baccalaureate degree. The program has been the faculty in that program have been really good with securing grants for research projects, and so our degree, our baccalaureate degree, will be different from some of the other tribal colleges in the state because it'll focus more on research. They've also established partnerships with some partnerships with NDSU in Fargo, and we're going to be visiting with them about a partnership with our pre-engineering degree. We currently have a articulation agreement with South Dakota School of Mines in Rapid City for our pre-engineering, but we want to keep options open to the students. Give them more options of staying in the state of North Dakota. So. The tribal environmental science folks are going to be visiting with the people at NDSU to look at partnerships with NDSU as well as the University of North Dakota. These are just some of the many changes that we make based on assessment results, input from students. Course assessments. Assessment is something that's anybody in higher education knows it drives all of the decisions that are made, and it. But to keep us serving the population.
We've been along those lines is in order to Lisa mentioned the articulation agreements, and we've been working with North Dakota University system to update our articulation agreements to have those things in place, and I think that's so important for our students, not only at our college but other colleges, to make sure that any courses that they take are transferable to other colleges. So if we have a associate's program at our college and they're looking at a baccalaureate at another college, that those credits that they take with us transfer to the other system. and so or vice versa. So the articulation agreements are the basis for those transfers. And what I was really pleased to see in the last chancellor that was hired, and I had the privilege of sitting on the board with several of our educational colleagues, and in that selection committee. And on that committee is that the only candidate to ask about tribal college and universities was the chancellor that was hired. So so I was pleased to have the question, and I think that was I spoke favorably in regard to that candidate on behalf of the tribal college system. So the other piece of that too is that it's not to recognize the North Dakota University system. You have to recognize all the colleges within that system, and I think some that we work better with just because of the programs of study that they offer and their expertise that they have. So I think if you're interested in agriculture, then you're probably going to go to North Dakota State University. So if you're interested in law or criminal justice, and hopefully you're going to come to us, and then or UND, and then go into the law school at UND. So I think there's different expertise within our state that we have to recognize, and I'm in agreement with Dr. Azure that we don't want anybody leaving the state, but rather we need folks to stay here and to work here within our state to make our state a better state. And I think for a lot of what I've seen for myself personally, coming out of a tribal college is, I graduated from Chandesca-Chikana Community College over on the Spirit Lake Reservation, and then going on to the University of North Dakota, is that our goal, my wife and I, my wife has a bachelor's and master's in public administration, and our goal was always to go home. But this is a trade. This is not just a native trait, but it's a rural trait, I believe. And that I remember doing a guest lecture over at UND School of Medicine, for the physical therapist class, and I was speaking with one of the students, and the student said, "Well, my goal is to go home. We don't have a physical therapist in Washburn, and so my goal is to go back there and provide those services at Washburn." And so it wasn't just, I don't think this is a native thing in regard to, but rather this is a rural perspective of the importance of all of us getting educated and going home and helping out as best we can. And so that's along those lines too. We talked a little bit about North Dakota University system, but also we've been working and interacting with both Bismarck State College and the University of Mary. Monsignor Shea has been great about visiting with us and inviting me up, as well as BSC, to participate in activities on their campus and vice versa. And I believe our goal as we go forward here into the year is to, and I think it's our turn, but there's a tri-college activities that go on, and it's mainly focused on culture, and each of us take a turn. And from the event I went to was at Bismarck State College this last time around, and then from what they're telling me, I don't know if it's just because I'm the new guy, but they said next time around it's our turn at United Tribes. So we'll be providing that next activity. And these are open to the public, but the event went well over on a BSC campus, and I'm pleased. We're looking forward to hosting the event on our campus. And to tell you the truth, we're not sure what we're going to provide yet, but that's something that's on our agenda, and that usually happens around the winter time of the year. With that, the other piece is I want to talk a little bit about enrollment trends. And enrollment trends on a national level and within our state is that enrollment's been down a little bit. And I think what's happening is that there's been some more employment opportunities, and people are actually going back to work, and the economy is recovering from the recession, so people are hiring and maybe even giving a little bit of raises within their communities or within their businesses. And so folks are enjoying that part of it. So as a result of that is that most of the time is that when you're going to see enrollment increase within post-secondary education is when the jobs are sparse. And so what we're seeing here, and not only on a national level, is that the jobs are available there, but here in North Dakota is that quite a few jobs being available. And as a result of that, our enrollments have increased. Because the trade-off for earning money is if you're going to go to school, you have to give up something. And in economics, they're going to call it marginal cost. So what are you giving up in order to gain something? And so what happens a lot of times when we go to school is that we lose that salary that we've been making, and so if we're losing, we lose that time and that amount of money that we would have made during those 2 years in order to go to school, or 4 years, and so but with the hopes that once we have our education, that we're going to make that money back. And what we see in the research is that's the case, is that if you'll recover not only that money that you lost during that 4 years education, but you'll also be able to earn more over a lifetime in regard to the salaries that you get career-wise. And I think this is so important for us, and especially for isolated rural communities such as Indian reservations, to help address the unemployment that occurs in those areas. And the more trained up we are, the more we're able to compete for job opportunities. So I don't know if you want to share anything on that, Lisa, in regard to how that relates to programs of study.
Yeah, we have a break coming up. We will continue our remaining moments with Dr. Leander McDonald and friends from United Tribe Technical College coming up as Free for All Friday continues. Don't forget, you can hear the podcast of the show next week at supertalk1270.com. You're listening to Free for All Friday at Supertalk 1270.
Right now, 52.
Sean Hannity, weekdays at 2, only on Supertalk 1270.
Now back to Free for All Friday. This week's guest, Leander McDonald, Dr. Leander McDonald, president of United Tribes Technical College. And friends, once again, Dr. McDonald.
Hey, Jim, thanks again for having us out here at Supertalk 1270. We, again, appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about what's happening at United Tribes Technical College and good work that's been going on there. We talked, before break, we talked a little bit about the enrollment being down nationally and here within our area, and especially among the tribal colleges. At United Tribes and the other colleges, and from what the other presidents have shared with me, is that they're also in the process of putting together recruitment plans and recruitment activities to try and address that need. And I think there's a group, that especially with on some reservations, the lack of employment opportunities that are available to them. And so we're trying to convince those groups to go to school, either they're at home or with us if there's areas of interest that they may have in regard to education. And I think for a lot of students, they need to connect with something. And I know for myself is that I did all my general eds and went after a liberal arts degree, a two-year liberal arts degree, associate's degree, and didn't really find my piece until I took a sociology class. And once I took a sociology class, I kind of found my place, and then pursued a bachelor's and master's in sociology from that point on. So I think it takes a little bit for folks to tend to, especially if you've been out of school for a while, to come back and to get back into the swing of things again. And then what we did, both my wife and I, is that once we got into school, we just stayed there until we finished up a couple of degrees, and that was easiest for us. The other piece of that, in regard to, I was part of the TRIO's McNair post-baccalaureate program. And in that program, you had to do research. And so they had you go find a mentor. And so that was the first charge I had at going to UND as a junior. And so they said, go find a mentor. And so I found one, and he really walked me through and helped me to not only help me which classes to take, which would help me to do what I wanted to do, which was at that time be a teacher, but also guided me through the process and really helped me. And he was part Norwegian and had grown up in Lakota area, just east of Devil's Lake, and really kind of helped me to understand the Norwegian culture was a piece of that, but also just to have me understand a little bit of the cultural differences. And so I coming up, spending all of my life on a reservation and coming off, there's cultural differences between the reservation and off reservation. And so, and I think that's the case for most rural communities. There's cultural activities, whatever type of community they come out of, in regard to going into Grand Forks, which is the big city for us, I guess, and experience what happens there. And I found myself taking offense. When I look back now, I took offense by some of the things that were said, but there was really no offense that was there from their side. So I think, and my mentor helped me to kind of walk through that and to come to an understanding of that, and help me to kind of adjust to this different culture that I was experiencing. And now I've come to the understanding is that, especially as a Native American man, is that we and the president of a college, is that we need to teach folks to be able to walk in whatever world they're in. And so if they're in a non-Native community and the majority of society there is non-Native, then they need to come to understanding how that community interacts. And if you're going to be working in a Native community, then you need to be sure you know the culture of that community, and things are just going to go better as a result of that. And out at United Tribes, we end up having a community, and we end up a small community out there of mainly Native within our campus. Like I was sharing earlier, is that we have non-Natives going to school with us as well, and so and they've been welcome to our campus. And I think we've heard good comments, feedback from that group that they've had good experience out there within our community. Also I believe we're at about 50% of our employees are non-Native at this point. So it's things have been going well. And want to have Dr. Azure share a little bit on some of the campus activities and campus resources that are available to students for those coming to school with us.
Thank you. One of the reasons that we were real excited about this opportunity was to increase awareness of some of the activities that happen on campus, and to emphasize that that we feel. The United Tribes community feels like a part of the Bismarck-Mandan community, and beyond. And we, like I said, I've been there over 20 years now and have seen a real positive transition from more and more people coming to campus and and recognizing the role of United Tribes. We do have an elementary school on campus. It serves grades K through 8, and it's called a BIA contract school, where it's actually it's a BIE school, but it's not located on a reservation, obviously. But they meet state they have state visits for approval and meet state criteria. We have when the kids graduate from complete 8th grade, then if they're all children of college students, so if their parents are still students, or if they choose to remain in the community, the after 8th grade, those students will transition into one of the secondary schools in town. We also have a child development center. We serve 176. We're licensed through the Burleigh County, through the state of North Dakota, to serve 176 birth to age 5. We've got 3 centers on campus for infant toddlers. We have 56 babies from birth to 18 months, and 26 toddlers, and about 73 and 3 and 4 year olds. These kids are our children, and their parents are all children. Their parents are college students. We've had a lot of interest in people with a shortage of daycare from people in the community wanting to bring their children out there. But right now, we tend to maintain capacity with the students' dependents. The Bismarck Public Schools serves a need on campus. They particularly with the preschool, we have a partnership with BSEP, where they provide services for our children with disabilities, and we're in the process now of setting up Right Track on campus. There's a number of other partnerships as well. The Bismarck Mandan BMDA Development Association. We students in the business program participate in some of their opportunities. Again, Bismarck Public Schools and the private K-12 schools in Bismarck and Mandan have been real good about taking students as both student teachers and in field placements. A real good working relationship there. And then just recently we had Marketplace 2015 on campus. We had up to about 800 kids from the region that came to campus for a day of fun-filled activities, learning activities, and spent the full day there. And then we have the Bismarck Event Center. We've got some of the art marketing students who are putting in a proposal to do the murals in the hallways for the new event center. So there's a lot of opportunities like that for community relationships. We just had a mini Relay for Life out on campus where we the mayor and another number of other dignitaries were on campus and kicked off that Relay for Life. So like I said, there's a lot of engagement between the United Tribes community and the greater community of Bismarck and Mandan. Now, I believe President McDonald's going to talk more about the summit and the powwow.
What if you could make your money grow in the...
Especially with the Bismarck Event Center. We have a strong partnership with that group, and they've been accommodating to us over the years, and we're pleased to, especially with the new facility and the new renovations that have occurred within the center. It's really, I think, really going to enhance what we've been doing in regard to the United Tribes Technical College Summit, Tribal Leaders Summit. And so in that work is that we have tribes throughout the nation, mainly from the Great Plains area, that come to Bismarck and participate in leadership activities. And so all of them are able to share and to network with one another. There's a variety of exhibits that occur at the summit, and a variety of different sessions that are provided throughout that for about a 3-day period, where folks come out and participate in those activities. It's just a great networking opportunity for tribal government and for tribal nations to come and participate in. And United Tribes continues to do that effort. So the other piece of that is the powwow itself. And again, I mentioned earlier that the economic impact of the powwow is about $4.2 million powwow in the summit. And the powwow is a competition powwow and is one of the last powwows here within the state of North Dakota. Quite an event to see.
Thanks for joining us for Free for All Friday on Super Talk 1270, keeping you involved and informed on issues that impact our area. To find more local talk at 11 o'clock, keep your radios right here on Super Talk 1270.
News, Super Talk 1270. Accurate news, stimulating talk. This is KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck.